The loudest thing you can ever say is nothing at all. They didn't expect this. They expected the same cycle, the same version of you who would double text, overthink, over-explain, and eventually break the silence just to keep the peace. But you didn't. You vanished, quietly, cleanly, like a candle snuffed out in the middle of their performance. And that's when something powerful began. Not on the surface, but deep inside their mind. My friends, this is not about revenge. This is not a game of who texts first. This is real Stoic power. This is the moment they realize your silence wasn't weakness. It was a boundary. Hey folks, imagine this. You're at a party, music's loud, people are talking, everything's chaotic, but suddenly one person in the room just walks out, doesn't make a scene, doesn't explain, just disappears. And for a second, nobody notices, but then the energy shifts. The noise doesn't sound the same. People start asking, where'd they go? That's what your absence does. It doesn't create distance, it creates a void, a space so loud with silence they can't ignore it. That's the kind of echo that stays long after you're gone. Now listen closely, because this part is going to sting, but it's also going to free you. You were taught to believe that being available equals being valuable, that chasing is noble, that silence is cruel. But that's the biggest lie we've been sold. The truth is, the more you over-explain, the more they undervalue. The more you chase, the more they retreat. The more you beg to be seen, the more invisible you become. But the moment you go quiet, not out of spite, but out of self-respect, you flip the entire script. You see, folks, when you disappear, you don't become forgettable. You become unforgettable. Why? Because the mind doesn't obsess over closure, it obsesses over confusion. The moment you stop giving them explanations, the moment you stop filling the space with effort, they start hearing the silence. And that silence, my friends, becomes a mirror. They don't just miss you, they start questioning themselves, their choices, their worth. And they start realizing that the person they dismissed was actually the person holding up the emotional foundation the whole time. Let me tell you, people don't panic when you speak, they panic when you stop. Especially if your presence was real, kind, and consistent. They're not used to someone walking away without a final jab, without a desperate plea, without begging for closure. That's what sets you apart. You didn't disappear to hurt them. You disappeared to heal you. And I know, it's hard. I know the silence sometimes makes you question your strength. You wonder if they even care. But let me assure you, they feel it. Not immediately, not publicly, but deeply, quietly. And the longer you stay silent, the louder your absence becomes in their mind. So stay with me. In this video, we're about to break down what really unfolds in their psychology after you go quiet. Not with arrogance, but with awareness. This isn't about manipulation. This is about understanding human behavior and choosing peace over performance. Let's go on this journey together. And if you're ready to reclaim your power without saying a single word, write this in the comments right now. My silence is strength. Say it, show it, become it. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe to Stoic Station, and most of all, stay with me. Because the best part, we're just getting started. Number 1, at first they feel nothing, but that's just ego talking. Denial doesn't mean they don't feel it. It means they're scared to admit they do. The first thing they feel when you disappear is nothing. Or at least, that's what they tell themselves. That's what they want you to believe. They stay cool. They keep posting. They laugh a little louder, flirt a little harder, and scroll past your name like it never meant anything. But don't be fooled, my friends. This isn't strength. It's ego. It's the mask they throw on when reality starts cracking beneath their feet. They didn't expect you to leave the stage. And now that you have, the silence is louder than their performance. Imagine this. You've been listening to music for hours, loud, constant, drowning out every other thought. And then, without warning, the sound cuts off. That moment of silence doesn't feel peaceful. It feels empty, exposed. That's what your absence is doing to them. They were tuned into the rhythm of your attention, your messages, your consistency. Now it's gone. And the first instinct isn't sadness, it's denial. Because if they admitted they missed you this early, it would mean they never really had control to begin with. So they pretend. They act like you never mattered, like your silence is just another blip in their day. They laugh it off, convince themselves you're playing some silly game, that you'll be back, that you always do. That's what they've seen before, from others, and maybe even from you. But this time, something is different. And even if they don't know it yet, their subconscious feels it. Here's the hard truth most won't tell you. The ego doesn't flinch at your absence because it still believes it owns your return. It says, they're just upset. They'll come running back. They always do. But this silence, this stillness, it's not rebellion. It's revelation. It's not emotional punishment. It's emotional protection. You didn't walk away to make them miss you. You walked away because you finally saw yourself again. You stopped explaining. You stopped proving. You stopped throwing yourself at a wall that never softened. And that, right there, that's when the game ends. Because, folks, nothing confuses a power-hungry ego more than someone who no longer seeks its approval. But why does this feel so hard? Why do you sometimes feel like you're the one losing when they're the one who couldn't meet you where you stood? Simple. Because society teaches you to associate movement with meaning. That if you're not reacting, you're not caring. That if you're not chasing, you're not strong enough. That if you let someone go without protest, you must not have loved them. Lies. All of it. Let's break that chain today. You don't prove your love by breaking yourself. You don't prove your worth by staying where you're undervalued. And you don't find peace in a place that only offers confusion. You were not made to beg for breadcrumbs while pretending it's a feast. You were made to know your value, even when someone else pretends they can't see it. So right now, in these first days of your silence, when they act unbothered, know this. It's not because they've won. It's because they don't yet realize they've lost. Not a toy, not a follower, not a fan, but a presence. A calm, grounded energy that wasn't asking to be worshipped, but was willing to stay as long as it was respected. And that's the shift. That's the storm they can't feel yet. But it's coming. Not with thunder, not with drama, but with a slow, creeping realization that you're not like the rest. You didn't vanish in chaos. You disappeared in peace. And that peace, it terrifies them more than any fight ever could. Stay steady, my friend. Stay silent, not out of spite, but out of strength. Because what they don't react to now, they'll reflect on later. And by then, your world will have moved, grown, transformed. Write this in the comments right now. My silence speaks volumes. Let the world see it. Let them see it. Let you see it. Because what's coming next, oh, it's going to shake them more than you ever did when you were still chasing. Stay with me. Number 2, confusion creeps. The pattern is broken. The moment you stop behaving how they expected is the moment their certainty begins to crack. At first, they feel nothing, but now something starts to shift, quietly, slowly, like fog rolling into a familiar town. They can't name it, not yet. But there's a disturbance in their mind, a crack in the rhythm. Because this time, you didn't come back when they thought you would. This time, you're not following the script. And the ego, oh, it hates unpredictability. It doesn't know how to dance with silence. It only knows how to control reactions. But now, there's nothing to react to, and that creates confusion. Imagine a magician who's always used the same trick. They pull the string and the puppet dances. They smile and the message arrives. They go silent, and within hours you break it with, "Are you okay?" But now they pull the string and nothing moves. No apology, no explanation, no text, just stillness. And that stillness, it messes with their internal compass. You see, folks, most people aren't afraid of being alone. They're afraid of being ignored by someone who used to care. That's the trigger. That's the storm you create, not with words, but with the absence of them. You're not angry. You're not dramatic. You're just gone. And their brain, conditioned for patterns and predictions, starts spinning. Wait, are they done for real? Did I go too far? Are they talking to someone else? Do they still care, and they're just punishing me? These thoughts hit them in waves, not all at once, because the mind resists confusion like the body resists drowning. But confusion always wins when reality no longer plays by the rules. That's where you are now. You broke the pattern, not by becoming colder, but by becoming calmer. Let's break a big lie right now. They're not confused because you did something wrong. They're confused because you finally did something right. You stopped offering yourself on demand. You stopped dancing to music only they could hear. You stopped bleeding emotionally for someone who never thought to bring a bandage. And now the silence has become a riddle, a presence wrapped in absence. They won't tell anyone this, of course. Outwardly, they're fine, maybe even smug, posting selfies, throwing out fake laughs, pretending like the timeline is still theirs to write. But behind that screen, their ego is on life support because it doesn't understand this version of you, the one who doesn't double back, the one who doesn't explain, the one who isn't seeking closure, validation, or emotional crumbs. And here's the truth that stings. They thought they had you figured out. They thought they had you. That's the part they can't admit. That's the part that keeps them up. Not the silence, but what it represents. It means they might have underestimated you, that you weren't emotionally dependent, you were emotionally available. There's a difference, and now they're seeing it. But that's what happens when you stop participating in your own mistreatment. Your absence forces people to confront who they were when they thought you'd never leave. And that confrontation, it's uncomfortable because now the responsibility can't be placed on you. You didn't lash out, you didn't spiral, you didn't make a scene, you just vanished. With clarity, with purpose, with a self-worth that no longer needs external validation. So don't let their calm fool you. Don't let the silence from their side make you believe nothing is happening. Something is happening. Inside, quietly, their certainty is cracking, their assumptions are unraveling, their ego is throwing tantrums in a locked room because the one who used to reach isn't reaching. The one who used to care out loud has chosen peace instead. You're not disappearing to punish. You're disappearing to protect, not them, yourself. You are no longer willing to be a background character in someone else's story when you were always meant to be the author of your own. Right now, they're in stage 2 of the unraveling. Confusion, curiosity, that itch that won't go away. And what comes next? Oh, it's going to sting even more. But for now, write this in the comments. Confusion is their consequence. Let it be known, let it be real, let it remind you that silence isn't empty, it's loaded. Stay with me, the shift has only just begun. Number 3, the mind fills silence with projection. When silence enters the room, imagination starts shouting. This is where things get interesting, folks. This is where the mind, starved for answers, starts building stories out of thin air. When your voice goes quiet, their ego doesn't rest. It rewrites, not with facts, but with fear. They don't have your words anymore, so now they try to fill in the blanks themselves. And trust me, what they imagine is almost always worse than the truth. At this stage, they're still not ready to admit they miss you, but they're watching, quietly, obsessively. They're refreshing your page, checking your last scene, lurking on your stories without ever responding. And if there's nothing to see, that's when the real spiral begins. Because the mind hates a vacuum. It has to fill the silence with something, and when it doesn't get clarity, it grabs paranoia instead. They start picturing you with someone else. They wonder if you're happier now, more at peace, finally free of the chaos they used to bring. Maybe you're laughing with someone new. Maybe you're leveling up. Maybe you're healing in ways they can't touch anymore. And that thought, that's the one that grabs their throat in the quiet hours. You see, folks, when you were present, texting, explaining, showing up, they could manage their image of you. They could control how you saw them. But now that you're gone, their grip slips. You've become blurry, unpredictable, and when they can't define you, they start fearing you. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because they no longer know how to place you in their world. Imagine it like this. You were once a book they thought they'd finished reading. They closed the cover, placed it on the shelf, and moved on. But now that same book is missing. It vanished from the shelf without a sound, and every time they reach for it, they're met with dust. And the not knowing, that drives them crazy. Because if the book is gone, maybe it's being read by someone else. Maybe someone else is now highlighting the parts they skimmed over. Maybe someone else is now cherishing the pages they once dog-eared and forgot. And here's the twist. They start convincing themselves that you're the one playing games, that you're trying to manipulate them, that you're using silence to get a reaction. It's easier for the ego to believe it's being provoked than to accept that it's simply being ignored, because being provoked means you still care. Being ignored, that means they've lost you, and losing someone who used to chase is a death blow to pride. But you know better. You're not playing games. You're not sitting by the phone hoping they finally text. You're not orchestrating a strategy. You're living your truth. You're choosing your peace over their patterns. You're focused. You're healing. And most of all, you're done handing your energy to someone who couldn't hold it with care. Let's break this lie wide open. The world will tell you that silence is cruel, that pulling back is petty, but that's because most people are addicted to noise. They think chaos is connection. They think presence means submission. But here's the truth. You're not withholding love. You're reclaiming dignity. And in doing so, you force them to face the mirror they've been avoiding. Their mind starts circling. Every story they told themselves about you being weak, emotional, always available, crumbles. Because now you're silent, now you're grounded, now you don't respond, not because you're angry, but because you're at peace. And that is a language they were never taught to read. So now they sit in silence, whispering their own made-up narratives into the dark. And guess what? None of those stories end with you begging. None of them end with you crawling back. And that's what makes the silence so loud. You've become a ghost in their head, haunting the space they once felt so sure of. And every time they try to tell themselves it doesn't matter, they check your page again. Let it stay that way. Let the silence do the speaking. Because this isn't just about withholding contact, it's about disrupting their illusion of control. And you've done it beautifully. So write this in the comments below. Let them fill the silence. because their imagination is doing more damage to their ego than your words ever could. And we're just getting started. Stay with me. Number 4. Regret rises, but pride tries to bury it. Regret is quiet, but pride shouts over it until the silence becomes unbearable. At this stage, something subtle begins to bubble beneath the surface. It's not loud, it's not explosive, but it's there, growing in the dark corners of their mind where denial used to hide. Regret, that creeping, uncomfortable realization that maybe, just maybe, they misread you, that maybe what they thought was yours to prove was actually theirs to protect. But here's the catch. They won't show it. Not yet. Because the ego doesn't admit mistakes. It hides them. And pride? Pride is the mask they wear while their thoughts start to shake. Imagine this. They're walking through a house they once owned. Every room still has traces of you. Your laugh, your energy, the way you used to show up even when they didn't ask. But now, the lights are off. The furniture is gone. And though they still have the keys, they're standing in an empty space, wondering how it all slipped through their fingers. That's what your silence has done. It turned their comfort into a question. And the worst part, they remember. They remember the moments you cared a little too much. The times you asked how they were, even when they barely asked about you. The effort you gave when they gave nothing but attitude, silence, or indifference. They remember the comfort, the safety, the fact that you never made them beg to be seen. You just saw them. And now that it's gone, now that you've gone, they miss it. But they won't say that out loud. Not yet. Because saying it means admitting they were wrong, and admitting they were wrong means acknowledging you were right to walk away. So instead, they wear the mask. Pride becomes their costume. They double down. They post more. They act unbothered. Maybe they throw a jab. Maybe they drop a quote that sounds deep, but is really just a cry wrapped in sarcasm. You've seen it before. I'm better off. Lost people lose people. Some connections aren't meant to last. All dressed up lies meant to convince themselves they're still in control. But control is slipping. Fast. Here's what they don't want to admit. The person they treated as disposable is now the only one they keep thinking about. Not because you begged, not because you posted a glow-up, but because you did the one thing they never prepared for. You stopped showing up. Not in anger, not in desperation, but in peace. And that kind of silence is surgical. It cuts through the noise. It exposes the cracks. And now, in the quiet spaces, those little pauses between conversations, the nights they scroll without purpose, the mornings they wake up hoping for something that's no longer there, regret starts speaking, soft at first, then louder. Why didn't I appreciate them? Why didn't I take them seriously? Did I push away someone who actually cared? But instead of listening, pride throws a pillow over those thoughts. Because admitting regret feels like defeat. And the ego, it would rather burn than bow. It would rather lose you entirely than admit it was the one that let go too soon, so the performance continues. But you're done performing. You've stepped out of that theater. You've walked away from the stage, from the lights, from the endless cycle of proving your worth to someone who never stopped to recognize it. And that's what stings them the most. You didn't beg for closure. You didn't demand validation. You left them with one thing they can't manipulate: consequences. Let me break this lie wide open. You were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong person. And now that you've withdrawn, now that you've reclaimed your time, your energy, your value, they realize it, but too late. And that's the weight they now carry. So no matter what pride tries to hide, regret has taken root. It shows up in their hesitation, in their overthinking, in their fake laughter, in the way they almost message you, but don't. They're haunted not by what you did, but by what they didn't do when you were right there, offering something real. Write this in the comments. Their pride won't save them. Because when regret is real and the silence is steady, no mask can hold up forever. Stay with me. It's only going to get heavier from here. Number 5. Curiosity turns into obsession. At first, they wonder where you went. Then they wonder why you're not wondering about them. This is the turning point, my friends. This is where the silence, your silence, shifts from a passing absence into an unshakable presence. It doesn't fade, it doesn't get easier, it gets heavier, more haunting. Because now their curiosity isn't just a whisper in the background, it's a storm inside their mind. The kind that interrupts conversations, hijacks their peace, and follows them into every quiet corner they use to feel safe in. At first, they thought they had you figured out. You'd stay silent for a while, sure, but eventually you'd break. Eventually, you'd cave and reach out. That's the pattern they counted on. That's the blueprint their ego built its confidence on. But that blueprint, you just burned it. Because now, it's been too long, and you're still not back. And the longer you remain still, the louder the questions become. Why aren't they checking on me? Have they replaced me already? Were they pretending the whole time? Did I even matter? They start to dig. Not openly, but obsessively. Late-night stalking, old photo replays, scrolling through your memories like they suddenly matter again. Not because they miss you, not yet, but because they miss the version of themselves they got to be when you were there. The one who always had attention, the one who always had control. Now that version, it's gone, and your silence is the only thing echoing in its place. Let me paint it for you. They're lying in bed, phone in hand, scrolling through your old texts, not to reply, but to remember. They're checking your profile, not to interact, but to study, looking for anything, a like, a new follower, a subtle sign that they still have space in your life. But what do they find? Stillness. No message, no post, no peek behind the curtain. And that kills them more than any loud exit ever could. Because silence, my friends, isn't absence. It's presence without participation. You're still there, but not in the way they want you. You're no longer on demand. You're no longer reacting. And that shift, that drives the ego insane. It needs to know where it stands. It needs the upper hand. And when it loses it, obsession sets in. They start watching your life from the sidelines. But here's the kicker. They still pretend they don't care. They'll drop subtle hints, post cryptic captions, wear outfits they hope you'll see, go places they hope you'll notice. But none of it is for them. It's for you, because your silence has made them addicted to being noticed again. But now, they're on the outside of your world, knocking on a door you no longer answer. You see, this is what happens when you finally stop trying to be understood by someone who never truly listened. You stop explaining. You stop justifying. You stop performing. And when the performance ends, the audience has nothing left to watch but their own emptiness. That's what's happening now. They're watching their own reflection and realizing you weren't the one who disappeared. They were the ones who never truly showed up when it counted. And let's break another lie here. Your silence is not cruelty. It's clarity. You're not ghosting. You're grounding. You're not avoiding them. You're returning to you. You're not trying to make them miss you. You're trying to stop missing yourself. And that kind of shift, that kind of energy, it's rare. That's why it drives them mad. Because it's not about power, it's about peace. And peace, in a world built on emotional chaos, is terrifying. So while they're pretending they don't care, remember this. They're checking, they're watching, they're wondering. And that wondering, that's the beginning of the breakdown, not yours, theirs. Because once curiosity turns to obsession, it's no longer about closure, it's about craving a connection they didn't know they needed until it was gone. Write this in the comments right now. My silence is their storm. Because the longer you stay still, the harder they spin. And what's coming next? It's going to hit even deeper. Stay with me. Number 5. Their ego battles reality, and it starts cracking. The ego doesn't break with a scream. It breaks with a whisper it can no longer silence. Now the silence has sunk in, not just as a moment, but as a message. This is the phase where their ego and reality start swinging at each other. And every time they tell themselves, "I'm fine," something inside them says, "But why haven't they come back?" It's an invisible tug-of-war. On one end, pride. On the other, a growing sense that they misread everything. Let's make one thing clear, folks. The ego hates being wrong. It hates being confused. It survives on certainty, on being in control of the story. And up until now, they believed they had the ending already written. You'd chase, you'd fold, you'd break. You always did, until now. But something's off. This time the silence isn't passive. It's intentional. It's composed. And that stillness? It's not begging for attention. It's announcing self-respect. And nothing terrifies a fragile ego more than someone who stops needing to be understood. That's what's happening here. The cracks are beginning to show. They're starting to reanalyze everything you ever said, every compliment, every effort, every moment you showed up when they didn't ask you to. Suddenly, those moments that felt too much now feel like everything they took for granted. It's like rewatching a movie after knowing how it ends. You start noticing all the parts you missed, all the warnings, all the grace, all the moments they laughed off when they should have listened. But instead of admitting this out loud, they keep it locked inside. Why? Because the ego would rather bleed privately than apologize publicly. So they pretend to be above it, still unbothered, still in control, still posting like they've leveled up without you. But behind those captions and curated smiles is someone who's no longer sure of anything. And here's where the real fear creeps in. Not fear of being alone, not fear of missing out, but the fear that maybe you were never chasing them to begin with. That maybe, just maybe, you were offering something real, that you weren't clinging, you were giving. And they rejected it, not because it wasn't good enough, but because they didn't understand what they were holding. Let me hit you with the truth. Most people don't know the value of peace until they're surrounded by chaos. Most people don't appreciate presence until it turns into absence. They didn't expect you to detach without bitterness, to walk away without setting fire to the bridge. And that's what's breaking them. They can't fight you. They can't argue with silence. And without your energy feeding their ego, they're left staring at themselves. And they don't like what they see. That's the crack, right there, the one they try to patch up with distractions, with rebounds, with overposting and overperforming. But nothing fills the space like your steady energy once did. Nothing compares to the calm you brought. And now that it's gone, they're realizing the power wasn't in your presence, it was in your restraint, your ability to stay grounded, even when they tried to shake you. And while they're out there trying to get your attention again without looking like they care, you're not playing the game. You're not trying to win them back. You're not trying to be remembered. Because people who finally remember who they are don't beg to be seen. So don't fall for the illusion. The pride, the performance, the delay in response, it's all part of the battle they're fighting inside. And every day you stay silent, another piece of that pride begins to break. They're no longer asking, Why did they leave? Now they're asking, did I ever matter as much as I thought? And that question, that quiet, terrifying question, is the sound of the ego losing control. Write this in the comments right now. My peace broke their pattern. Because your silence didn't destroy anything, it revealed everything. Stay with me. The unraveling isn't over. Number 6. The fear of replacement takes over. What the ego fears most isn't losing you. It's being replaced by someone who sees your value. Now the panic starts to take a new shape. It's no longer about you being silent. It's about why you're silent. And worse, who might be filling the space you used to give them so freely. You see, up until now, their mind was trying to keep the illusion alive. They're just upset. They'll come back. They always do. But now, that illusion is cracking like glass under pressure, and the thought creeps in like a shadow. What if someone else has them now? That's the fear that wasn't supposed to exist. That's the thought they laughed at in the beginning. But silence has a funny way of making space for paranoia. And when you don't give them updates, when your profile goes quiet, when your attention disappears, they start to imagine things. They invent scenarios. They build pictures in their head of someone else texting you late at night, of you smiling at someone who actually sees you, of you finally being treated right. And that image, it's poison to the pride, because what they're realizing now is that your silence was never about punishing them. It was about preserving yourself. You didn't vanish to teach them a lesson. You walked away to protect your energy, and that makes you dangerous to the ego, because people who don't chase become mysteries, and mysteries always trigger obsession. Now they're scrolling back through your photos with a new set of eyes. They're zooming in, wondering who took that picture, who made you laugh like that. They're watching for signs, clues, anything that confirms their worst fear, that you've moved on, that someone else sees the value they ignored. And here's where it gets even more twisted. The fear of replacement isn't rooted in love. It's rooted in entitlement. Because they thought you'd always be an option. They thought you'd wait, that your silence was temporary, that your heart was on hold. But now they see that your peace is permanent. And that realization feels like losing a crown they didn't even realize they wore. Let's not sugarcoat it, folks. This is the moment where the mask starts slipping. They might start reaching out in strange, indirect ways. A random message, a "hey, just checking on you." A comment on something old, but none of it is because they suddenly remembered how much you mattered. It's because the fear is screaming louder than their pride can handle. Because what haunts them isn't your absence. It's the idea that someone else is now holding the presence they once took for granted. Imagine it like this. They were sitting on a throne they believed only they could occupy. They ignored you, played it cool, thinking you'd orbit around them forever. But now that throne is empty. And worse, they see someone else walking toward it, and they know that person won't hesitate the way they did. That person won't need convincing. That's when the what-ifs hit hard. What if I blew it? What if they've found better? What if they never look back? But the worst one, what if they're finally happy and I don't even get to see it? That's the sting they never prepared for. Not your anger, not your goodbye, but your glow, your peace, your progress. They thought your value was tied to them, but now they see you were always the prize. They just didn't read the label. Let's tear this lie apart. They didn't replace you. You were never replaced. You evolved. You didn't move on out of revenge. You moved on because you outgrew the version of you who begged to be seen. And now, the fear they feel, it's the shadow of what they could have had, following them around in silence. So if they're wondering whether you're with someone else, let them wonder. If they're obsessing over your absence, let them spiral. You don't owe anyone clarity who couldn't handle your presence. Write this in the comments right now. I don't compete. I replace. Not with arrogance, with awareness, because the real power isn't in being chosen, it's in choosing you. Stay with me. They haven't felt the full weight yet, but they will. Number 7. The realization. You weren't chasing, you were offering. They thought you were chasing validation, but all along you were just offering connection, and they fumbled it. This is where everything starts to hit them, not in pieces, but like a flood. The smoke clears, the lies don't land the same, and the silence they once thought was a phase now feels final. And in that silence, a truth begins to surface. You weren't trying to win them, you were simply showing up for them. And they mistook your loyalty for weakness, your consistency for desperation, your kindness for need. But now, the narrative they built in their mind is collapsing under the weight of their own blindness. Because you never begged, you offered, you never chased, you gave. You weren't seeking validation, you were showing them what it looks like when someone actually shows up. Fully, authentically, without games, without manipulation, without conditions. And now that you're gone, they see it. Imagine it like this. They were handed a rare, delicate piece of art. At first, they admired it. They liked the way it made them feel. But over time, they stopped looking. They stopped appreciating. They left it gathering dust on the shelf, convinced it would always be there. But one day, they turned around, and it was gone. And now, they're realizing what they had wasn't just another painting, it was one of a kind. Their mind begins to replay the entire story in reverse. Each moment they dismissed, each message they left unread, each time they expected you to carry the emotional weight of two people. And the more they think, the more it aches. Because you weren't dramatic, you weren't chaotic, you weren't trying to manipulate emotions, you were steady, clear, present. And they're realizing now that those traits aren't common, they're rare. And your absence, it's not a punishment, it's a mirror that reflects every moment they chose pride over presence. Here's the lie they've been hiding behind. They were too much, they cared too soon, they came on strong. No, you weren't too much, they were too little. They weren't ready to be seen, so they blamed the one who looked at them with real eyes. And now that your eyes are no longer watching, they feel it, deep in their gut. They assumed your messages were proof of weakness, but now they reread them like scripture, wishing they could go back and respond differently. They thought your affection made you easy, but now they see how rare it is to feel genuinely cared for without having to perform. They thought they had the power, but now they're powerless to stop the realization that they let someone irreplaceable slip away while they were busy acting unavailable. And here's what's crazy. This realization doesn't come with fireworks. It comes in the stillest moments. In the middle of a laugh that suddenly feels hollow. In the middle of a night when no new message comes. In the glance at your profile that shows no updates, no clues, no invitations back. That's what breaks them. You're not reaching, you're not explaining, you're not trying to be missed. You're just not there anymore. And in that emptiness, they finally see you weren't playing a game. You were genuine, you were real in a world full of performance. And they were so busy protecting their image, they lost the one person who wasn't trying to compete with it. But here's the best part. You're not bitter. You're not sitting in your silence waiting for them to come around. You've moved into a different chapter, not out of revenge, but out of reverence. For yourself, for your peace, for the version of you who finally got tired of proving your worth to someone who should have seen it from the start. Write this in the comments right now. I wasn't chasing, I was choosing. Let that truth echo, not just for them, but for you. Because now they know what they dismissed wasn't desperation, it was devotion. And what they lost wasn't attention, it was you. So my friends, let's bring this full circle. What really happens in their mind after you disappear isn't just confusion, it's chaos covered in pride. First, they ignore it, then they wonder, then they feel it. And by the time regret shows up, your silence has already built a life without them in it. You didn't disappear to hurt them. You disappeared to heal yourself. And that quiet choice, that's what echoes the loudest. If you've ever questioned whether your silence mattered, let this be your answer. It shook their world more than any message ever could. Now drop a comment below and type this: "My silence was my power." Let the world see it. Let them feel it. And if this spoke to you, like the video, share it with someone who needs this, and subscribe to Stoic Station for more content that helps you reclaim your peace, your power, and your purpose. Stay silent. Stay strong. Stay with me.